Today we're in Jefferson County, Pennsylvania, where we'll attempt to visit all 13 of Jefferson County's historical markers. I'm Audrey Sorek. I'm from Brookville, Pennsylvania, and today we'll be traveling all around Jefferson County, visiting all of the 13 historical markers to discover Jefferson County's rich history. So to aid our search, we're using the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission Marker Search website. On this website, you can use the drop-down box to select Jefferson County, where little red dots will appear to guide you to each of the individual markers and give you some information about them. So if I click on the dots, it'll bring up the information and the locations of each marker. So we're here at our first marker, the Jefferson County Courthouse. And this courthouse is known for its grand appearance and its central location in town, and not to mention its beauty. Formed March 26, 1804 out of Lycoming County and named for President Thomas Jefferson, until 1806 attached to Westmoreland County and then to Indiana County until 1830. Noted for its coal and lumber industries. Brookville County seat was incorporated 1834. So here we are at our second marker, the William J. Mcnite marker. He was a physician and a senator who wrote the history for Jefferson County. A physician turned senator, he co-authored an act in 1883 that established a board to oversee the distribution of unclaimed bodies to medical schools for anatomical study. In effect, it made grave robbery illegal and promoted the advancement of medical science. Here we are at our third marker of the day in front of the house built by abolitionist Elijah Heath. Heath was involved in activities pertaining to the Underground Railroad and was actually fined for his involvement in helping slaves move north to Canada. Outspoken abolitionist and judge, in 1835, Heath and others rescued two fugitive slaves, Charles Brown and William Parker. Heath, a Brookville resident, was sued by a Virginia slaveholder and fined for his actions. Undeterred, Heath continued his Underground Railroad activities.
It's right here somewhere, right there.
Here we are at marker 4 in Corsica, PA, a marker that commemorates the Catawba Path used by Native Americans that is now the highway. Many of the highways and roads used today follow those original paths. This early road from Olean to Katanning followed the Catawba Path, formerly used by 5 Nations war parties attacking the Catawbas of South Carolina. Near here, it crossed the Indian Path from Venango, Franklin, to Chickalamoo's Clearfield. Our next stop brings us to Eldred Township, Jefferson County, where we're along an Iroquois main road, which is now known as State Route 949. Now this site is a bit of a mystery because the marker is actually missing, and we're working to relocate it, but the marker would read, "The highway here follows the course of an old warpath used by the Iroquois. It was their best route to the south until the Susquehanna Valley was opened to them by their victory over the Susquehannocks." Our next stop takes us to Cooksburg, PA, on the Jefferson County side of the Clarion River, where a marker is supposed to be to commemorate the rich lumber history in Jefferson County. If the marker were here, it would read, "Named for John Cook, who came to this section in 1826 and started lumber industry along Tom's Run." Here is Cook's Forest State Park. In this park, there's one of the finest stands of large white pine hemlock in the state. So although our last 2 stops had some missing markers, there is a process to get these reinstated by the State Museum. Our next marker is at the mouth of Callan Run, right next to the Clarion River, and is the Wright and Pierco Logging Railroad. This railroad revolutionized the lumber industry, which we know is important for Jefferson County, and is actually the newest marker not yet on the GPS map. Built in 1864 by Wright and Pierco, the railroad used a steam locomotive that revolutionized the logging industry in PA and nationwide. Understanding that steam power would be more efficient for hauling logs to waterways than wooden skids or horses, Wright with engineer Alfred Truman and millwright Rush Baxter created the locomotive from a boiler and a small steam engine. The line ran about 4 miles from Callan Run to Clarion
Keep Keep going straight here, I assume.
Yeah.
Just trying to read. This is still game school.
Yeah.
This one.
Our seventh stop of the day brings us to Snyder Township, Jefferson County, on State Game Lands 54, where there's a marker dedicated to the Game Warded Training Facility. Within State Game Lands 54 is the original site of the first academy in the nation devoted entirely to the training of game protectors, later known as wildlife conservation officers. Established in 1932, it was an important component in the professionalism of game management in PA. It was named after Ross L. Leffler, a 30-year-old member of the Game Commission and Assistant Secretary of the Interior, appointed by President Eisenhower. Our eighth stop of the day brings us just outside Punxsutawney in Bell Township, Jefferson County, where we are at the marker of the Great Shamokin Path, which is now Route 119. This major Indian path connecting the Susquehanna and Allegheny rivers paralleled the present highway at this point. Long used by Native Americans as a thoroughfare for hunting and trade, it was traveled by Delaware and Shawnee warriors during the French and Indian War. Bishop John Etwine and 200 Indians with their cows used this portion of the route on their way west to Friedenstein, July 1772. Our next stop is here at Calvary Cemetery in Punxsutawney, PA, where we're at the marker dedicated to Charles Margiotti, a prominent social and political leader in the 20th century. Margiotti was dedicated to helping fight for migrant rights down in Pittsburgh. Prominent lawyer, business executive, and civic and political leader, Margiotti was appointed Pennsylvania Attorney General in 1935 to 1938 by Governor George Earle. He was among the first Italian Americans to hold such a post in the U.S. He was the Republican candidate for governor in 1934. He practiced law in Pittsburgh and donated services to defend immigrant workers. A native of Punxsutawney, Margiotti is interred here at Calvary Cemetery. Continuing around the Punxsutawney area, we come up to Gobbler's Knob, where Groundhog's Day is celebrated every single February. The tradition started in Europe and continued in America, brought by German settlers, is an important part of Jefferson County history and attracts thousands of visitors to the area. As early as 1886, German immigrants here observed Groundhog Day and established the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club in 1899. According to folklore, if the hibernating groundhog, known as Punxsutawney Phil, leaves its burrow on February 2nd and sees its shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. The legend is based on a European custom predicting the length of winter by weather conditions on Candlemas, an ancient Christian festival.
So just turn left here.
Yeah, so I think if we just go straight,
I should have went straight up over the hill. We can do that.
Oh, okay, so we're still good.
Well, which way do we go? Left or right? Right.
Right. Just keep going on Edge Street.
Okay, is it on Locust?
No.
Okay.
Keep going.
But you know where you're at now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we are in Mcnite Township, just outside of Punxsutawney, at the Pennsylvania State Trooper marker. This marker is dedicated to those who lost their lives to protect our county and those who continue to serve. On September 2nd, 1906, Private John F. Henry and Francis A. Zeringer were killed in the line of duty as they attempted to arrest fugitive murderers barricaded in a nearby house. 3 other troopers were wounded. Their sacrifice symbolizes the PA State Call of Honor, which states, in part, "I must serve honestly, faithfully, and if need be, lay down my life as others have done before me, rather than swerve from the path of duty." Our 13th stop of the day takes us back through Brookville to the Pennsylvania Memorial Home marker, the first county home dedicated to veterans and their families. Established in 1890 by Kate Scott and Annie Wittenmeyer of the Women's Relief Corps, an advocate for Civil War veterans. It was the first home in the nation to accept not only former soldiers, but also their wives, children, widows, and orphans. Our last stop of the day brings us to the residence of Lewis Earl Sandt. A Brookville native, Sandt was the first American to make an international flight and changed the way that the general public viewed aviation. A pioneer aviator, Sandt was the first American to make an international flight from Erie to Canada in 1912. Like many early pilots, he died as a result of crash injuries a year later, His efforts helped spur popular interest in flight. He lived here for most of his brief life. Thanks for joining us on our tour around Jefferson County. No better way to end it than with puffs. I'm Audrey Sorek. I'm from Brookville, Pennsylvania, and today we'll be traveling around to all 13 of Jefferson County's historical markers to visit I keep losing it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll get used to it as we go on, I promise. So here we are at our second marker, the Dr. William J. Mcnite marker. This early road from Olean to Katanning followed the Catawba. Near here, it crossed the Indian Path from Venango, Franklin. Do it again? Why do people keep doing that? This marker, although a little run down, signifies the connection of the Native American path to the current highway that runs along today.
I don't know, I couldn't even hear you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like... Groundhog's Day is celebrated every single February. The European tradition attracts thousands of people and millions of eyes to Gobbler's Knob every single February as the groundhog... What did he do? He decides whether it's going to be spring or winter?
Yeah, the spring comes early.
Oh, okay. I forgot what he does.
I forget how many more weeks.
Yeah, okay. All right.